Hi everyone, I'm Sophie Milburn, editor of the MSP Channel Insights portfolio, and I'm joined today by Devang from Infrassist. Could you introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your role at Infrassist, and as well as like a little bit about the company and kind of what operations and customer success means in the context of an MSP?
Thank you, Sophie. My name is Devang. I'm Director of Customer Success and Operations, as you rightly mentioned. Infrassist is a white label MSP, right, or a master MSP, where we help MSP to scale, and we are partners in their growth. This is our motto, and this is the mission and vision we work with for our partners. So, as far as the role is concerned, when I say operations and customer success, that means we help MSPs to attain operational maturity, operational efficiency, and via that we help them achieve the success, right? Because we have seen that MSPs mainly struggle with their day-to-day operations a lot, and that stops them from growing their business. So that's the role I have, and we have a team which we align with different MSPs who look into this aspect on a day-to-day basis with our MSPs.
Fantastic. Thank you for that overview. You did mention then that MSPs do often have kind of difficulties. So from your experience, what are kind of the biggest, operational gaps that you see MSPs struggling with, and whether it's kind of like their NOCs, help desk, or day-to-day service delivery?
Right. So what we have seen in our experience working with different MSPs, it varies, but we see a standard pattern that things are not, properly documented. It's probably in the head of the owner, or it's in the head of the few engineers. So there is no proper way of maintaining how the success looks like, right? So if you cannot define how success looks like, how will you measure the success for you? So we have seen that, and that it could be in terms of configurations of RMM, or what are your backup and restore policies? How often do you do it? Do you do it or not? Right? Or you just do it when you want to do it? So we see that they don't have a systematic or SOPs which they follow. And as they are just busy on day-to-day stuff, so that is where we also come into a picture as an Infrassist, where we help them to streamline their operations and so that they can focus on the growth.
Fantastic. How do you design kind of processes that balance internal efficiency with strong client experience, especially when you are scaling fast or managing kind of periods of high volume?
There are different ways, and also it's also depend on the type of the MSPs we are working with. There are certain MSPs which are very small and medium, and there are certain MSPs which are large, and all these MSPs are at the different level of maturity, operational maturity, right? So it depends on customer to or MSP to MSP basis, but in general, to start with, we have a very strong onboarding process. All right. So from the start, we try to understand what is a normal day looks like, right? What is the expected from a day-to-day things, right? What are your P1, P2, P3 customers? What are the priorities? How do you handle these customers? Who are your power users? Who are the customers with needs and immediate attention? Sometimes it is not documented. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's there in the head. So when you start documenting all things or asking these questions to MSP, they also realize, oh, okay, this is very important, because that will help you if you have defined to serve your customers better. And once you start defining all these things, you just have to copy paste or replicate this with other customers based on your SLAs or based on the contracts you have signed with your customers. So if you have a certain way of doing things, it's very easier to replicate and scale faster. But every time you are onboarding a new customer, you are adopting or discovering a new way of dealing with the customer or process. It's gonna be a chaos every time, and you're gonna you're gonna firefighting, or you're gonna your day-to-day will just be answering customer calls and not focusing on what I could do more for my customers or how I can bring value to my customers more.
Yeah. Typically and traditionally, the MSPs are quite reactive by nature, always kind of, busy keeping the lights on and firefighting, like you mentioned. So for an MSP that's kind of ready to move beyond like a don't lose the client strategy, where do you actually kind of start building something proactive on the customer success front?
On the customer success front, what we do is we sit with the MSPs, we define their quarterly goals, right? We define what, as I said earlier, how success looks like, right? And then we constantly monitor with them for the first 6 months, right? And once that first 6 months are working properly, We say, okay, now we can do completely everything for you. You don't have to get involved in day-to-day things, so that you can focus on new initiative, new things which you can do for your customers. As you know, technology nowadays is changing very fast, and you need, as an MSP, you need to go and have that conversation with your customers more regularly now as in past, right? And in order to do that, you have to offload your day-to-day stuff to someone. So that's where we work with MSP in a detailed way. Okay, what you want us to do, how you want us to do. Of course, there are areas which are gray, there are things which are not defined, but at least there should be some framework on how to deal with things when things are not defined, right? So that helps to things, manage things more properly, more accurately, and deliver customer happiness, or as I said, customers will be your happy. And as the question was, most of the MSPs fail to do this. Most of the MSPs are just busy doing day to day stuff, that they don't go and have the new conversations that, okay, your business has grown, so you should change how the tech backbone which you have, because in nowadays, in any business, the technology is the backbone, right? So are you, in order to do that, you have to get rid of your day-to-day things, or keeping the life, you have to get out of that mentality, right? And that's where we work with them on a day-to-day basis. My team work with them on a day-to-day basis, so that in 1 or 2 or 3 quarters, they can go and talk to their customers on what could be the new things they can do. And there is a structured way we do that with MSPs, right? And it varies on MSP too, because every MSP has, another tricky part about this business is every MSP has different kind of SLAs and different contracts with their customers. It's
Yeah.
not that there is an industry-wide standard norm, right? So what I feel working with customer is, if you are building things while you are onboarding new customers, you're gonna, at some point of time, you're gonna sooner or later run in a chaos. And then at that time, the decision will be very expensive decision, that how I'm not growing. Because since you are just dealing with day-to-day things, and during when you were growing, you were not defining things. You were not defining things for your team, for yourself, for your customer. And then later on, the growth becomes very difficult or chaotic.
Yeah. It'd be
So
much
that's
easier if it was a one size fits all and everything worked the same for everybody and then you could go from there, but it just doesn't work like that.
right. So as the question said, right, this is how the discussion we do with the MSPs, that you need to get out of your day-to-day business, and in order to do that, you need to work with someone like Infrassist, who has the experience and who have the right team members to deliver that, so that you can focus on your growth and also serving your customers better and bringing more value to their business by adding new tools and technology.
Yeah. How are you kind of seeing AI and automation playing a part in this and kind of reshaping the way that MSPs are managing operations and delivering more consistent client experiences?
AI is definitely in every sector is ramping up things very fast. Every business which we do, everybody is asking this question: what are you doing with AI, and how is it going to impact my business? So to answer, I will give you some example. Right, there are, we help MSPs some AI platforms. For example, Roost is one of the AI platform we have been working with, which is an automation platform. But what fundamentally that does is it reduces the repetitive task from the human, and it does that automatically, right? You have to define certain rules, and let's say, for example, onboarding and offboarding of users, right? Earlier you required an engineer to do that. Now with AI or automation or tools like that, you can just offboard it, and so the engineer's work will be more valuable work. The day-to-day mundane, repetitive tasks can be offloaded. I can say this is the impact in the MSP ecosystem. If I speak about AI in MSP ecosystem, right? AI can help you triage your help desk tickets, right? When you receive a tickets, AI can work on the tickets and see, okay, what kind of ticket this is, and can assign it to an engineer automatically. Earlier, this was again in human efforts, and whenever there is a human involved, there are always a high chances of making errors. So this repetitive task in MSP ecosystem, which doesn't require high level of expertise, we are seeing AI taking place through the different tools. We have already implemented that in our few partners ecosystem who wants to see how this AI can help us and improve our operational efficiency, basically. So a ticket which could take probably 20-25 minutes with human intervention can be done very quickly now with AI. So this is how the AI is adding value in the MSP ecosystem.
Yeah, it's just about using it really proactively, isn't it? And not using it to replace humans, but
No,
allow
no.
them, free up their time for more important things.
Exactly. So, that's what the discussion I would like to say is that, definitely there are certain things which human are doing currently will be taken away, but the objective that we as a human or an engineer can do more valuable stuff which we are doing for the future.
What's one shift operationally or in how MSPs think about kind of customer success would you kind of urge every MSP leader to prioritize in the next, say, 12 to 24 months?
Right. The strategic part, I would say, is to look at these AI tools which are coming,
Yeah.
right? Take the guidance of the experts on how to implement that into your business.
Mhm.
Guidance like from companies like us as an Infrassist on how to implement this so that you are ahead of your competition, right? And you will be able to onboard more customers using these technologies, right? This will also help you to grow your business faster and in a more structured way. So I would say definitely the AI part, that definitely look at the AI tools what is coming, sit back and brainstorm with companies like Infrasys who have an experience that how success looks like for you in now 12 to 24 months, and we make a plan on step to step how to achieve that success. Like I was talking to one of my MSP recently, by 2030 I want this things to achieve. Maybe it could be certification for my company, for my engineers, cloud adoption, AI adoption, and we kind of made a detailed roadmap till 2030 what we have to do. So these are the discussions I think the MSP should, no matter whatever size. I would not say this is, most of the time when people say, oh, this is for big MSPs, I don't think so. And the MSP which I'm talking about, where we I had a recently discussion, is very, is a medium, small and medium MSP. It's not very large MSP. So you need to sit back with the right people in the industry, see what you want to achieve in terms of technology, which will add value to in your customer's business, right? Ultimately, whatever you are doing is for your end customer who will be able to achieve more. And in that value chain, we all will do more, right? So this is what I would say, pick the best tech stacks where we can help define your goals for next 3 to 5 years and how we can achieve this using technology. This is the shift I would recommend to all the MSPs.
Amazing. Yeah, I don't think any company's too small to worry about kind of where they want to be in the future. And like you said, you can't be successful without defining what that success looks like for you. And it will be different for everyone. So
Yes, that's true. That's true. Every big and small companies I am seeing and working with, they are right now taking a step back and reevaluating everything with the emerging technologies which we have in hand.
yeah. Well, it'll be really interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years in the channel in general. So yeah, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you.